Mike. Thank you all for tuning in today. Alrighty. I got a Q&A today, and I'm going to answer all the questions that y'all asked me. And my daughter's on the other side of the camera, and she's going to be asking me, so stay tuned.
I have some musical questions for you.
Bring them on.
The first one, what music do you listen to?
I listen to country music, and I'll listen to other music as well, but my favorite music is country music.
Number 2, do you like the Beatles?
I do like the Beatles, and I remember growing up, my brother's 10 years older than me, and I remember he would have his friends over, and if I ain't mistaken, he had like a little band, and he'd have his friends over, and he'd be playing that music, and I had to go to bed for school, and I used to say, alright, that's enough, but he'd be always playing the Beatles. Yes, I do like the Beatles.
Number 3, do you like Bob Dylan?
Yeah, I do like Bob Dylan. He has some nice songs.
Number 4, what do you think of today's music?
Well, each period, or each decades, I guess, has their own different music and for their own different times. And I'm not a narrow-minded person. I listen to all different kind of music. I listen to whatever my son and daughter put on the radio. No, I like today's music. I'm not a narrow-minded person, but you kind of always favorite the ones from your era. But sure, I like today's music to a certain extent.
Number 5, do you play any instruments? Or are you interested in learning any instruments?
Well, let me just put it to you this way. I couldn't carry a note if I put it in a bucket. When I was younger, I wanted to play the banjo. I always loved it. I got the looks, and my brother got all the musical skills. My brother, you can give him a short time on any instrument, and he'll be playing it. He's just that kind of person. He's very good at it. But yes, I've always wanted to learn the banjo. I remember my one best buddy, God rest his soul, he was playing the guitar. My brother was teaching him the guitar and me the banjo, and I just hit those banjo strings just right. I didn't know what I was doing, but I hit them just right, and they stopped and looked at me like, wow, he was really good. It was pure accident. But I did try the banjo, and sure, I would love to learn, but oh boy, when you don't have the skills, you don't have them.
The next comment also has a few questions. So the first one, what is your motivation in life?
My motivation in life is to leave a good footprint of being a good Christian, a good person that will be remembered as a good family man, raised his children right, was good to people. So wrap that all up, and I guess you could just wrap it all up in saying a good Christian that's following the Lord. That's my mission. My motivation in life is God, my wife, my son, my daughter, my family, my close friends, my farming, my hunting, my fishing, my outdoors. And when I do them, I do them all with the love and respect of God. That's my motivation in life.
The next question is, what have you discerned as the meaning of life thus far in your own?
To follow the Lord's word, to make sure I have a good, clean soul, so I make it to heaven. That's what it's all about, to treat people right, to be a good person, to enjoy life, and to keep the soul clean. So when it's all done and said, we're in heaven with God.
And most importantly, what's your dream car?
Well, so I had to sell my dirt bike. And I remember I sold my dirt bike for $300, and I bought a Mustang baby blue 67 289 3-speed on the floor for $290. And my best buddy and me worked on it and got it to work and running. And that was a Mustang 67, and I loved that vehicle, and I sold it to a friend of mine for $400. Wish I could still have it, but I guess my dream, let's say my dream truck, because that's what I would love to have. I guess I like to have a Dodge Ram Dually 3500. I would love to have that. That would suit me real good.
I'll take a Tesla.
Of course you will. All right, well, there goes my truck. I gotta get that for my daughter now. She comes first.
Oh, there's also a fly flying around here, so you'll probably see that on the camera.
My dog will get it later.
The third comment. Hey Mike, I'm a massive fan, and I've been watching since you only had about 200 subscribers. But my question for you is, what's your favorite lure or fishing tackle to fish with? For example, a spoon or like a rubber worm. And if you don't have one, what's your favorite species to catch?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for all your support. I use a real worm a lot and the plain hook, and I'll use a fake worm a whole lot, and then a spinner bait. Always seem to do good with those worms though, whether it's real or fake. But the best is a hook, and just a plain big old night crawler does great. And then from there, I would go with rubber worms. So, you know, in the summertime when it's real hot and it's hard to find those worms because they're down deep, it's just a big nice rubber worm. And I'm gonna say bass. I love catching bass. They're a lot of fun. So if I had to just pick one species, I'm gonna say bass. And if I was to say saltwater, I would probably have to pick perch. I've always loved to catch white perch, a lot of fun, and they're a good fighter. So for saltwater, I'm going to say perch, and for freshwater, I'm going to say bass. But anything comes on the hook is a lot of fun.
The next question from another comment is, have you ever been to Maine? If not, my family owns a canoe and kayak rental business on the Saco River in Freiburg, and it's a lot of fun, and I do not know if I pronounced that correctly.
I have been to Maine. It's been many, many, many years ago, probably about, oh, good Lord, probably about 22 years ago, give or take. Actually, it was before my son and daughter was born. Me and my wife went up to Maine, and we had a great time. And we went up to Bar Harbor, and how do they say it up there? Bar Harbor. And it's a beautiful state, and one day I'd love to visit it again, and I'll keep that in mind. And that's nice that folks have their own business. I love to hear people that are in their own business and doing well, because how's the old saying go? If you're in your own business and you're doing something you like, you never work a day in your life.
The next comment is, have you ever been fishing in Loch Raven Reservoir in Baltimore County?
Absolutely. When I was a young lad, so to speak, I did a lot of fishing in Loch Raven. I remember one of my fishing stories. My brother, like I said, he was 10 years older than me, and he always impressed me, and he always inspired me, and I naturally always followed him. He was a great brother, and I remember he caught a northern pike out there, and whew, man, that was so awesome. Me being as anymore because I live so far north, but I did go once last year, me and my daughter. I think all the reservoirs are hard to fish. It's hard to, they all have big bass and so on and so on, but it seems like they're all hard to fish. When we went there, we didn't catch any bass. I think we were just catching some little bluegills, real little, but hey, they're fish.
The next comment is, have you ever been deep sea fishing? And what's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
I have been deep sea fishing off of Ocean City, Maryland. I think we went out about 5 miles, and it was all aluminum boat, and so you felt every wave. That thing was 82, 83 feet long, 3/4 inch aluminum, twin diesel, and we went out about 5 miles off the coast there going for Spanish mackerel. And actually we went down 3 times to go. The first 2, it was too rough to go out. The third time, as far as I was concerned, it was too rough to go out, but Captain said let's go, and we did. And I'm telling you what a trip. Those waves were huge. Unfortunately, my brother got seasick, and the other guy that I was with, me and him, I think my brother maybe got his line in the water once or twice before he got seasick, and everything was aluminum, so my brother had to lay down on the aluminum bench they had there, and he said those people that were fishing would bring up their lines and the sinkers would hit that metal, and he said, oh my lord, it was so rough. But me and the other guy, we caught, I think it was 78 Spanish mackerel, and we had a garbage can and put them all in there, and felt sorry for my brother. Didn't catch a fish, but he cleaned every one of them and made fish cakes out of them. We ate them for a long time, and they were great. My brother did all that work, and that's how he is. He's a master of all that stuff. He becomes the well, at that day he didn't become the fisherman, but he became the cook, or the chef I should say. But it was kind of neat because you have a mate on the boat, and he keeps all your lines from being tangled and helps you with taking the fish off. And you would have a line, I don't know if they call that a Christmas tree now or not, but it was those little eels about that long. That's what they look like to me, and they could be green or red, and then you have a big sinker at the bottom, and they were spaced about a foot apart, your lures or your little eels, and then on the very bottom you had a big sinker, so you could catch anywhere from 2 to 3, and the mate would come around and he would take the string, and if you had 2 or 3 on there, he'd jerk it like that, and they all fall off. That was pretty neat. So yes, that's the deep sea fishing I did. The biggest fish I ever caught was a black drum, and it weighed 55 pounds, and then I caught another one that day that was about 45 pounds, and this goes back years ago, and I'll never forget it. It was a super, super neat fishing trip. It was me, my buddy, and his son, and we caught 9 black drum, and the biggest one that was caught that day was 77 pounds, and my buddy's son caught it, and it got off, and just a few minutes later he caught it again. It still had the hook in its mouth, so that's why we knew it was that fish, and it was 77 pounds, and that was at the end of the Chesapeake Bay where it meets the ocean or close to it, and I believe that was buoy C10. That was a great fishing trip. I have pictures of that.
The next one is, what do you do for a living?
I have 2 jobs. I work for a local county as property management, and I got another year to go. I've been there 36 and a half years, and I want to go one more year, so it will give me 37 and a half. And my other full-time job that I love, and I don't even consider it work, is my farm. And when I retire, that's what I want to do the rest of my life, and I pray to God I can do it until the day I die, and that's what I enjoy doing.
The next one, do you want to fish a tournament or get any more serious about fishing?
Oh, would love to fish a tournament, and I always love to be improving myself and get more serious about fishing. I like to learn. I like to better myself. I like to get better. I like to know more. Always be educated about the things you enjoy and love. So, yes, I would like to be in a tournament. I think that would be a lot of fun, and to get more serious about fishing. Absolutely.
The next one is, what's your most fond fishing memory?
I have several fond fishing memories, but if I had to pick out one, I would pick out the day that my brother caught a large bass, and I mentioned it in one of my videos here, and I think I said it was 6 pounds and 3/4, but actually I think it was 5 pounds and 3/4. And the story goes, it was Easter Day, and after church we had Easter dinner, and it was such a beautiful day. We all decided to go fishing as a family, and my mom and dad was there. Mother's sister was married, and mother's sister was home, and then naturally me and my brother. And he caught this bass, and it's jumping out of the water, and I could see how big it was, and I was thinking, holy cow. Didn't have a net, and what I always say, never grab the string, and always have a net. And here's something I'm always talking about, which I gotta get a net. If you catch little, well, you don't want none to get off, but if you catch little ones, you can pull them up, but you never know when you're going to catch that big one, so you should have a net, which I gotta get. But anyway, this bass is jumping out of the water, and I see how large it is, so right away I know that I gotta get it. No net. Definitely don't want to grab the string. You grab that string, he shakes one time, it could be gone. So if I lose that fish, could you imagine the pressure on me? My whole family's there. So anyway, he plays it in, gets it right up the shore, and I get down there, and I know once I put my thumb in his mouth, to right back and keep him from jumping around. At the same time, you gotta watch the hook. Thank God. Got it in there, pried it back, got it up on shore. Whew. Yeah, that was a really nice fish. My brother said, well, they're out there, they're up close, keep on fishing. So we kept on fishing there, and then I caught one about, I think it was about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, somewhere around there. And that will always stick in my mind. That was a beautiful fishing trip. By the way, he got that mounted.
The next one, it's not necessarily a question, but I'd like to know how you and your wife met and your guys' story, if you're comfortable talking about it. And he also asked what you do for a living.
Alrighty, well, I have a story for you all. If you watch the video, you'll see what I do for a living. I mentioned it just back a couple frames. But yeah, one of the hardest things I ever did in my life was find my wife. It was called The Little Black Book, and it was a newspaper, and you could put an ad in there, and I did, and my wife answered it. She didn't know what I looked like. I didn't know what she looked like. So she answered my ad. I called her. We made a date. And I'll never forget it. It was so much fun. She didn't know what to expect. So what had happened, her not knowing me and I'm not knowing her, she put a butter knife in her purse for her defense, just in case, because she didn't know. And we talked about that and laughed about that for years. And actually what had happened is, on that date I forgot my wallet, and my father went in the room because he seen I left the wallet out, and actually called her and told her I forgot my wallet, because he was afraid I was going to take her to dinner and not having my wallet and paying for it. So she had to break it to me that my father listen to folks that are older than me because they've been through a lot and they know a lot. One that sticks in my mind is never take anything for granted and always count your blessings.
The next question asks, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Well, I'll eat any ice cream that's given to me, but if I was to pick one out in the store, I guess I would go with butter pecan. Love it. Put some chocolate in there on top of it, some milk and whipped cream. Oh my lordy. Now y'all got me started. I'm gonna have to go down the store right after here and get some.
Next comment asks, what's your favorite caliber gun and why?
Oh my lordy, that's a good one. There's so many great calibers out there and so many guns. It's hard to pick just one, but I'm gonna pick the favorite gun that I have. I have a 30-30 Marlin lever action. Now there's a lot of folks out there that don't like the 30-30 or just say it's okay. And I mean, there's so many other great calibers out there, but there's probably more deer killed by that caliber than any caliber. But the reason why I picked that gun is because I've had it ever since I've been a kid, and I am so used to it, and I just used it so much. I love it. So I'm going to say the 30-30, and it's the Marlin lever action, and that's the 336 gold trigger. Bought it from Kmart many a moon ago for $88. Wish I would have bought a whole lot.
The next is, what is your favorite fishing story/memory?
I have several fishing stories and memories. So, I had mentioned a couple, but I got many more, so I'm going to talk about this one that sticks out in my mind. One time, me, my son, and my daughter, and my wife, and this is back some time ago, my daughter was quite young, and we were fishing this little pond that really had some huge bluegills, and had bass and yellow perch, and so on, and my daughter kept on throwing her line in. Well, she just dropped it like a foot offshore. I said, well, why don't you throw it out further, Jess? She said, no, I'm afraid to catch a big one. And I thought that was so cute. And then, naturally, when she did catch one, she just picks her rod up, pulls it out of the water, and starts running as it's following her. I grabbed it and took it off for her. But that's a memory I'll have in my mind for life. That was so funny. We talk about that all the time.
The next comment asks, where are you from?
I'm originally from Essex, Maryland, and that is the upper Chesapeake, and I spent a lot of time out on the Chesapeake Bay. Had a great time and great memories and a lot of fun. Where I live now is northern Maryland.
This is the last question. Who was your inspiration for doing ASMR?
Well, that's easy. My daughter, she mentioned it that she was watching some ASMRs and she said that I could do that, and it was back not this Christmas but the Christmas before, and we were wrapping some gifts, and I said, look Jess, I could do an ASMR, and I start crinkling the wrapping paper, and we laughed, and you know what, it wasn't about a month later or so we started doing ASMRs, and here we are now. And I thank you all for watching. I thank you for all your questions. I thank you all for subscribing. And I look at you all as my friend. God bless you all. And just remember, be someone important. Be yourself. Until next time, God bless. See